Namaste, Inspired Tribe. How's it going? What's happening? Good to see you all. Welcome to the Live Inspired live stream here on the Inspired channel. It is a beautiful day. It's April 30th, 2020. I have no idea what day it is. Let's go with Wednesday? Thursday? Thursday? Christine says Thursday. I have no idea. I don't care, honestly. I became an artist and songwriter so I wouldn't have to care about these things. Well, thank you for being here with us. As always, we love connecting with you guys. We're going to wait for a bunch of you to jump on. I know our Inspired Tribe's already here, already in the chat. And thank you so much for your comments on yesterday's live stream. Always beautiful to read, and there were some questions as well. Let's start with our mantra, shall we? We're healthy, we are wealthy, we're whole, and we're free, and we're pretty awesome too. We're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, and we're free. We're the Inspired Tribe. For those of you who are new here today, welcome. Now what happens as soon as you log on this live stream, as soon as you click on it, as soon as you watch, you automatically become part of the Inspired Tribe. There is no fee, and you can't ever be not a part of it anymore. That's for life. You're just part of the Inspired Tribe. Some amazing people in this group. We're growing every day. We're loving it. Loving all of you. Let me see who's jumped in before we do our beautiful little meditation. And I want to talk about that meditation because I got some questions. We got some questions. Just want to make sure we all know what this is about. Hey, Black Sky. Hey, Carla. Hey, Mariam. Hey, Solstice Stone. Hey, Kelly. Hey Emma, so beautiful to see you guys. Hey Avi, let's see who else is here. My screen's just... Hey Agni. Hey Rosie, hey Rose. Hey, said hello Carla, I think already. Hey Drew. Hey Ellen. Hey Illy. So good to see you guys. Hey Elise. Hey Gary. We're excited to have you all. Hey Lorraine. Hey Barb. So good of you guys to tune in. And before we jump into our 5-minute meditation that we do every day, before we are going into this top topic today, you saw it. It's called Pull the Trigger, and this is going to be a good one. And this is going to require full Inspired Tribe participation today because it's about all of you. We're going to do something really cool and interesting here. But first, let's start with the meditation. I want to explain it real short. It's a Chit Shakti meditation. We learned it from Sadhguru, and basically it's a very simple process. Now, we just do the first part of it, and then later you can do this for abundance, for health, for love, for whatever. But we do the first part, which basically, as we breathe in, we say, I am not the body. And as we breathe out, we say, I'm not even the mind. And why do we say that? Well, 24/7, when we are doing whatever we do, when we're going about our days, we are identifying with our mind, identifying with our bodies. And we need them, we love them, we appreciate them, but that's not all of who we are. There's this larger part of us that's always connected to Source, and that's the part that we're connecting to when we are not the body and not even the mind. So this is not about negating these beautiful parts, the body and the mind. It is simply about stepping out of this thinking, physical experience into the more eternal experience for a little while. We're connecting in that field, all of us, because we're there together. And then with that beautiful intention, we are, doing this love stream together and all of the beautiful things that are going to follow in the next hour or so. So that's it. That's the explanation for those of you who have not heard about this meditation before. And now let's breathe a little deeper, arrive in this moment. Just follow my voice. You can repeat it for yourself in your mind. Really allow yourself to arrive here, to let go of all the things. They'll come later. They'll come back. For right now, it's just about this present moment. Close your eyes and just follow my voice. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. Deep breath. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. One more deep breath. And when you're ready, at your own pace, in your own time, come back, open your eyes. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for this beautiful meditation. And while you're slowly coming back, let me tell you that this little meditation you can do for yourself anytime. There's no need for guidance. It's 2 simple sentences. And when you allow for those to be effective, then you will feel pure relief, because for that period, you are not what you have, you're not what you can, you're not your abilities, you're not your muscles, you're not your looks, you're not even what you know. You are that eternal part, and that eternal part is not conditional. It is. It simply is. It's always been, it always will be. And that's the part that we want to connect with. It also has this eternal wisdom. So just something that you can do no matter when, no matter where. You don't even have to say it out loud. You just take those breaths, and it's a beautiful thing. Pure relief meditation, and it can elevate your spirit to a new level. Let me see. Hey, Lacey. Who else tuned in? Hey, Chris. Chris tuned in from Switzerland. I bet he speaks Schweizerdeutsch. Grüezi. Salut. Then we have Linda. Is that a Swiss heart, or am I misinterpreting it? Or is that a Red Cross heart? Because otherwise I just greeted you in Swiss German. But that's fine. Hey, Justina. Rose says, up about 13 people from yesterday who are watching. There's one interesting thing, just in case you are paying attention to the numbers, they don't add up, because we see different statistics after the stream. So whatever YouTube does there, but it doesn't matter. It's about the experience. Hey, aloha. Hey, Linda. Hey, Mikhail. Good to see you all. Well, today we are... I still have to say hi to everyone who's tuning in. Hey, Larry. Hey, Liana. She's tuning in from Pura Vida from Costa Rica. That's beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Inspired Tribe, for joining us from probably 3 or 4 continents today. And you've probably seen the title, the headline. The topic for today is Pull the Trigger. And what this is about is something that's become very, it's become a topic even in our society, how people are being triggered. And we all have those triggers. What that means, I'm not talking about the trigger on your gun, I'm talking about the emotional trigger. It's when a topic comes up, when something's being said, or you're being confronted with something, and all of a sudden you have this almost uncontrollable reaction. It takes a while for you to even become conscious of it. You have these subconscious beliefs, they're coming up, boom, they're there, you're reacting emotionally, and you're out of balance. And that's what that's a trigger. Now, triggers can both be on that side, or they can be on a very positive side too. You can even create new triggers where you go, if you want to experience a certain emotion, athletes do it all the time. It's called an anchor in sports, where you intensify a feeling in your body that you want to feel at a certain moment in time, and then you create something like a pressure point on your body somewhere, maybe on your wrist, and you do this routine for so many times, this ritual, that when you are, for me, was when I was skiing, when you're in the start gate, you can actually press on that point on your body, and it releases, this feeling that you have built up. So you are there, you're in the zone, you can create that. But what I'm talking about is the triggers that are subconscious, that are lying underneath. And I want to ask you guys, because what I really wanted to do today is work with some of your triggers, and let's see if we can, transform those triggers, if we can take away whatever power they still have and transform them into something positive. So I want to ask you guys, what are some of your triggers? Is it something it's something that's happening right now? It might be the word virus, it might be the word pandemic, or it might be the word money. It might be the word relationship, it might be the word fear. Whatever it is, let me know about what your triggers. What is something that when you hear it or when you see it, you feel this, discomfort inside of you? Because it's important to not ignore this, okay? As the longer you ignore it, the stronger these things become. But if you pull the trigger, and that's what I call it, if you pull the trigger, you allow it, and you can transform it. You can empower yourself through it and above it and beyond it. So let me see. Okay, good. I see one. Let's go there. Rose says alcohol. Alcohol. So we're gonna do a few, and Drew says rent. So we're gonna come back. We probably won't do all, but let's go together, okay? Even if alcohol is not your trigger, let's see what's happening here. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of a background for me on alcohol. It's a good word for me. I haven't had alcohol in probably 10, 11 years. It was never a problem for me. I just simply, when I started playing music, full-time professionally, I just felt that I didn't want to be in this habit of drinking all the time and going out and when I play having drinks when I'm doing band practice and stuff. So I simply decided I don't need it, I let go of it, and my life has improved greatly. But what does alcohol stand for? That's more important. Okay, so it's a substance, yes. Okay, so it has effects on your body, yes. But taking away this addictive feeling from the body is fairly easy. Taking it away from your mind, that's the thing. Taking away the emotional trigger from it. So what happens when people think about alcohol? Like for a lot of people, they believe it's just recreational, right? They get home after work, they have a beer, they have a glass of wine, they have a glass of whiskey, and it represents relaxation, it represents turning off, it represents zoning out, it represents calming down. So basically, they're using a substance to do that. And after a certain period of time, this becomes a habit. But it also can mean numbing feelings. It can also mean pushing stuff away. And because it has done it, it's enough. If it does it once, you want to go back and try it again. But what is it on a vibrational level, okay? So let's say that your intention is to feel really good, okay? Vibrationally, you want to be high. That's where you want to go. Alcohol, very low vibration. You can't raise the vibration of alcohol. It has its vibration, it has its frequency, right? So if you look at it, if you want to level up, this is going to level down. Alcohol is always going to level down because this feeling good is not a real feeling good. So when you feel your way through it, when you think about it, what happens? What happens if you level up, if you use what you have at hand, if you use your practices, if you use meditation, if you use a walk in nature, and you realize now you have just raised your vibration a little bit. You have come home, and for a little while, it's going to take willpower. You refuse to go there. But just not going there is not enough because you're going to sit there and it's going to come up as a thought. So what happens if you feel your way into something better? What happens if you feel your way into something even better? When you find one thought that feels just a little better and you calibrate your way up, there is going to be a frequency at a certain point where you're not going to feel that desire anymore, and that's where you want to get to. You want to get to the frequency where you don't have to use your willpower, because willpower is motivation. It means to avoid, you want to avoid something and it motivates you. It motivates you for a certain period of time. But unless you raise your vibration and get inspired, okay? Inspired, where spirit comes in, this is always going to be an issue. You're always going to want to, go there and see if it still works. Maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't. So it's about raising your vibration into a realm where it isn't a thought anymore, because it isn't part of your thought process. It isn't part of your solutions anymore. And how do we do that? Willpower is important because that's what helps you take the first step. And then the next step is finding something that feels good unconditionally, okay? What feels good unconditionally? Think about something that feels good unconditionally. A lot of people say they have pets, okay? Feels good to just pet your dog. But what about taking a deep breath? What about calming down? What about hearing, no matter where you are, hearing the waves, hearing the ocean, hearing the seagulls? What about smelling the ocean air? What about standing on the top of a mountain? You don't have to move, you just have to imagine it. What we're doing is getting to a place where your brain does what you want it to do, to give you these happy hormones, to feel good. And that's something that happens with your mind. You don't need a substance to do that, and a substance can never do it in a way that you can do it. What you want to do is find that space where these happy hormones come and they satisfy you, because that's a natural process. Good feeling thoughts make good feeling hormones. And that's when you come into a space where for a little while, it's not going to be a thought anymore. And that little while is a cause for celebration. That's when you go hours, maybe an hour, and you haven't thought about alcohol. Or maybe you go a day and you haven't thought about it. Or maybe you go a week and you just think about it sometimes, but you realize, wait a minute, doesn't this other thing feel so much better? Let's try this again. Make this calibration process a habit, and not something, because as long as you try to avoid this, whatever it is, alcohol, thinking about money, thinking about virus, thinking about whatever, then your mind is automatically going to be there. You're automatically going to think about it, and then the urge is going to come up. So, but just filling your mind with something useless doesn't help either. It has to be something that inspires you. And then think about this, and that I can tell you from my personal experience, okay? So I wasn't drinking, regularly, but like maybe 2-3 times a week at least. I would have a few beers at night. After a few weeks, the first wave of alcohol was out of my body. And just because you can't measure it in blood alcohol, it doesn't mean that it isn't in your system. And I felt clarity coming up. I felt more clarity in my thought process. And then a month went by, and I felt more clarity. And after 6 months, I had a feeling it's gone. It's completely out of my system, and I felt such clarity, power, upliftment. It was such a wonderful thing to be in this clear space. And there's a lot of wonderful ways to do it. But you have to find this inspired space for you. What inspires you? And it's something different for everyone. Because when you have spirit, you don't need willpower anymore. Willpower is to get you there, to help you get there. But willpower will only get you so far. And it will eventually, you won't have it. And that's when it happens. But if you have inspiration, you're on a cloud. And that cloud is carrying you. You have spirit. You have the highest with you. You are aligned. That's the place that you want to get to. And if for now, this hour that we spent together gives you a few hours of that, then you haven't touched anything. There was no substance involved. It was just about the energy. And then learn, remember, feel how you can raise your energy even by yourself. And you will see that you will level up so much that alcohol will not be a thought process anymore. I can promise you that, because I do know, because I have, what people call an addictive nature, which means if I really love something, I want it all the time. And so can be very positive, and it can have very harmful effects, as when we're talking about something like this. So know that when you're in an inspired place, this addictive nature doesn't control you anymore, because you're above the body, you're even above the mind, you're in this inspired space. And that's really the reaching point, the feeling of alignment. And in that space, you will train your body and your mind, because it's the body, right, has a memory, it has a cell memory, and it gives you these impulses. But the more time you spend up here, you retrain your body, so it's not going to give you those impulses anymore. And now alcohol is never a thought for me. Like I don't think about it, and I could walk by an aisle of beers and wine and whatnot. It doesn't even, it's like non-existent for me. It doesn't play a role whatsoever in my life. And you can get there very, very easily if you allow it. If you allow it. So let me see what where are we? Rose, let me see. I want to see what did Rose say anything?
I don't think so.
Okay, so I'm gonna let this sit here for a while, and even maybe come back to it later. The audio went out. Does everyone still hear me? Okay, so the next thing I saw was Drew says rent. So I assume rent is money, right? Rent is abundance. So one thing and we know absolutely, full disclosure, we've had this, we've experienced this both ways, very, a lot of unlimited abundance and lack as well. That's part of the experience, part of the expansion process. But what helped me or us very much was to, I like to dig deep enough to understand it. So at one point I asked myself, what is money? Okay, money is our symbol for abundance, but how does money work? And that helped me so much, because it brought me to a different place. Okay, let's say that let's do this thought process together. Rent is something that you believe you owe, right? It's like a debt that you now have because you have to pay to someone. Now you're getting something for it, but in essence, to pay rent is to satisfy a debt. Now, if you look at money, what money is debt. No matter if it's either public or private debt, because the process of how money is created in our system is through debt. Now, either the government gets into debt to get its own currency, or people get into debt, to borrow money from the bank. But there is no, in other words, if all debt was satisfied, we wouldn't have any money anymore. So all money is debt. Now this kind of, on a mental playing field, this kind of changes things. Because everybody owes something to everyone. Okay, that's some system that we play. That's the monetary system that we play. But think about it in another way. When you take this to an energetic place, money is a means of exchange, right? And we kind of have a feeling for how much do I want to invest in this, and what do I feel is fair to get back from it, right? Give and receive. So there has to be a fair playing field. That's the next step for me. Do I feel like I am lovingly giving this because I'm lovingly receiving this? If this is fair, if this is leveled out, then you have just gone to the next level. Because if where you live, you love where you live and you enjoy it, that's really important. If you enjoy it, then the money has to show up for you to pay for that. If you have a wobble there, and we've experienced this too, if you're in a place where you don't really want to be and you just feel it's a necessity, then these things come up. Because it's just another expression of, you overcoming this, I don't want to be in this space, it doesn't feel good. So that's an important thing you got to ask yourself too. Do you love where you are? Is this your place? Because when this is your place, the money has to show up. Because if you feel good, if you're aligned, if it's the right place where you want to live, the money has to show up. And then the next thing is, what do we believe about the stream and flow of money? Is it only when we give something that we get something? Or are we a step higher, where we understand that the flow of abundance is a natural process, and that's where we need to step out of the system world and go into nature and look at nature. Nature has no conditions when it comes to abundance. It gives, right? A tree grows, it bears fruit, and then if that tree doesn't bear fruit, another tree bears fruit. And if this doesn't grow, this grows. There's always an abundance of everything in nature. So when we align and calibrate to that system, which is the natural system, and when we bring this alignment into our worldly system, we are now in the abundance flow. And the worldly system, it reacts to your vibration, right? What you vibrate at, it has to react at. And don't beat yourself up, because if it's wobbly, it just gives you more reason to calibrate, more reasons to align, more reasons to go out and hug a tree, more reasons to see and look for abundance all around you. And no matter where you are, there is an abundance of something around you. If you're in a desert, there's an abundance of sand. You couldn't count, even in a square mile, you couldn't count the sand grains. There's so much abundance. If you are even if you're in what's it called, in New York, the park, Central Park, you can't count the leaves. You can't possibly count the abundance in nature. And so whenever you feel a lack coming up, see how much abundance there is around you. And these for me are whenever I feel lack, for example, I have to first start in my mind and kind of get on a more leveled out field. And that helps me to go a little deeper, right? And then I try to go into my body and feel where abundance is in my body. Where do I feel abundance in my body? There's an abundance of air I can breathe. Feels good. Okay. Feels really good. There's more abundance of air I can breathe. Feels good. Oh, there's an abundance of thoughts that I could think. Let's pick the good feeling thoughts. And then I go look out the window. Oh, there's an abundance of green out there. Or there's an abundance of people. Soon there's going to be an abundance of people. So to find spaces of abundance. And this is, I don't know if you have noticed, but in the past year or so, you've seen with, Abraham Hicks, you've seen this calibration process. This is really a lot of fun because it's a more easing your way into something, feels more natural. It doesn't feel as forced as when you try to jump on something good feeling. That's a way, and pull that trigger. Honestly, pull that trigger. Think about rent. And think about how good it feels to write that check or to send that money or to Venmo or PayPal, whatever you do. Think about how good it feels. It feels so good to have this exchange, and it feels so good to pay a bill. Oh my God, isn't Louise Hay always said, to pay a bill is so wonderful because it means that someone, someone believed in you enough for them to give you a service. They had this faith in you that you could satisfy it, and you can. You have it. You have it. You are an abundant, powerful being. Yeah, I can only see the stream of comments and thoughts, and I can see Christine's head because she's reading it here. And is there something you want to point out, honey, that came up?
Drew said, what if I can pay it right now? Be happy that I will pay later.
There's this, whenever we're in interaction with other people, there are these thoughts and expectations in our head, and there's one thing to find your peaceful spot. That's for you to go into meditation, to go into the woods. That's for you. And then the interesting part is, if you in your mind, because there's this, and then there's the interaction, right? And then there's the fear of the interaction, and then there's the fear of what the landlord might say or might do or whatnot. And so, yes, of course, you can go and point out that, that they can't evict you until, but there's another much more important layer is when you become calm and when you play out this conversation in your head, if you infuse it with love, you won't have that fearful conversation, you will have a love conversation. And if you're grateful for the understanding, grateful for maybe extended time, grateful for a really kind exchange with your landlord, if you can see them happy, if you can see them relaxed, if you can see them in a really, really good light, then believe it or not, you're activating that within them without them even knowing. It's how you expect this to go. It's how it's most likely going to go. If you prepare for a fight, right? If you get your guard up and if you have all your argument, if you have it already planned out, what you're going to say and how you're going to respond here, and if they say that, you're going to say this. You're playing this low vibration thing, and I've done it before. That's why I know it. But when you raise and you go, oh, I mean, they have a wonderful heart. I know they do. They're good people, and I can feel that, everyone's interested in a wonderful solution. I can feel that we're all in this together. I can feel that this is easy. I can feel that they don't want to hassle and they don't want to evict anyone. Everyone is just tuned into the solution. I'm going to have a really friendly conversation. I'm going to ask them how they're doing. I'm going to really be interested in their well-being. Actually, I'm already going to send out positive vibes before I have a conversation, before I send a text, before I send an email. I'm going to tune into their energy and send positive vibes and send gratitude and send appreciation. And all of a sudden, can you feel it? Can you feel it how much calmer this whole thing is? And you know how it works. When we do the center of the circle, don't we do that every day? We tune into each other. And that's the same thing that you can do with your landlord right now. And believe it or not, if you pull those beautiful words, if you feel that energy, if you allow it and send it over, I mean, there's a very good chance that it's going to be a very fruitful and mutually beneficial conversation. There's going to be a great solution, and then things are flowing again, not just with your landlord, but in general. And know that there is such a stream of abundance now as much as ever. It hasn't stopped, it hasn't changed. We see it all around us. There's abundance everywhere, and you have not just the ability, but you are naturally inclined to tune into that. I know that. I feel that. Okay, let me see. I have to scroll down. Yeah, and another thing too. So, from my past experiences and our past experiences, don't go into details too much with such situations. This is not about details, it's just about a solution. And a solution can come from everywhere, it can come from any place. It's not so much about you, it's about you tuning vibrationally into that solution and not making it. And also, if the word rent triggers you, write it down in many different sentences. Like when you just find something very neutral. Rent is a great way, it's a great means of exchange. Rent makes people happy. Rent makes me happy. I love to pay my rent. Find your way into positive associations with it, and rather than avoiding the thought. The more you avoid it, the more it's going to come up. But trust that, just because in the past there was a negative conversation, there was a negative vibe, trust that just like you are having a bad day, someone else might have too. And tune into these better feeling thoughts. You really influence the other person positively by feeling their wonderful, beautiful vibration and by having these thoughts about them. I've done it over and over again, and it has always brought amazing solutions because, believe it or not, people don't want to fight. They don't want any of that. They really want peace. Everyone wants to feel peaceful. Everyone wants to feel appreciated. Everyone wants to feel, gratitude. That's just a natural thing. And we lose this perspective sometimes. So this is how I calibrate around money a lot of times. I start with something very general. I remind myself that it's just pieces of paper. I remind myself that it's just a current expression of abundance. I remind myself that even if there's a shortage of money somewhere, there's never a shortage of abundance, right? Abundance is our universe. It's everywhere. There's an unlimited abundance of stars. The universe always expands. So the principle of abundance is universal. It's everywhere. And as soon as I do that, I feel it more. I see it more. And then I start seeing more money even than I did before. And then just things start to shift. And now I'm going to have to plug in the battery here, or we're going to lose you guys, and we don't want that. So we had alcohol, we had rent, which kind of is like money. I read somewhere that, going to college now they're not being allowed to clap anymore in certain colleges because it triggers things. And that's basically how society is starting to go about it is don't trigger people, don't trigger emotions. I say pull the trigger. That's BS. You have to pull it. And you have to, release this thought that something has power over you. A topic has power over you. It's just past thoughts, how you used to think about it. It's not how it's working now. It's not what is happening now. It's not how the future is going to be. And just because something triggered you in the past doesn't mean you can transform it. We always can. We always have a choice how to move forward. And one thing that when you go to that, I love learning from Neville Goddard about this, because he always went to create from the end. Put yourself in the situation of how you're wanting it to be. It's basically segment intending on steroids. That's how Neville Goddard taught this topic. Drew says, John, you're right. His name is Mario. He's just a go-between for the management company. I've had good and bad experience with him in the past. Need to stay in love. And think about this too. Everything's changing, right? These things are going to change to adjust to newfound appreciation, not just for landlords, but also for tenants. These things change. We're entering a new energy, new frequencies, and also know this, that if for some reason what you expect, what you love, what your vibration is around a home doesn't really match what it is right now, then something better is around the corner, then a new door opens, and it sometimes opens in so many beautiful ways. I can just tell you this, not to go into details, but her daughter had this experience so fast. There was something that put her out of balance, something very important for her, and as soon as she had just enough calmness to set a new intention, a door opened without her even trying. Very important door. Solution, boom, was there for a big thing, like a really big thing. Solution was there like that. Without trying hard, without making calls, without anything. Just like that. Trusting her intuition, being at the right place at the right time. Boom. And that's how quickly it happens. And sometimes you walk out of an apartment and the next destination is a mansion. Is, or maybe it's, Fifth Avenue. Not even the sky's the limit. Awesome. Is there, so we had alcohol, we had kind of money and rent. Is there another trigger that you guys feel? I'm really surprised that no one's talking about something like the virus or this or that. That's really cool. That's really awesome. That's not even a big thing, or it might be for someone. I don't know. I either have to go up, or if you've already said it but still want to talk about it, please put it in the live chat so we can calibrate into a new energy. Sex could be a trigger. Sugar. It's almost the same thing. Procrastination. Okay. Conspiracy theorist label. Yeah, I get that every day. Don't care. Addiction. Addiction is kind of what alcohol was if you tuned in before. Procrastination for sure. Well, Black Sky, you were the first. What do you mean by sex, or that part? Trigger. Interesting. What does it trigger? Addiction to love. Okay, let's work our way through it. What Black Sky was the first. What do you mean by sex? Please do elaborate. And we'll definitely jump into conspiracy theory conspiracies because that kind of plays into addictions too in some ways. It's interesting. Addiction to love.
Addiction, is she saying?
Okay. Pornography, yeah. I guess that's a big topic for a big group of people. The interesting part is, whichever topic we choose, we're going to come to the same place. But think about it. Like, take sex, pornography. It's about releasing something, experiencing something else. The satisfaction thing is really a chemical that you want to experience. But what's the underlying... What's underlying? Where's your vibration? Where's this? If you look at... Now we have, in our society, that's fine. Let's go broad and then move in. In our society, we have disconnected sex from love, okay? It's two things that, you can combine, but a lot of people don't. They have the one or the other or both, but not connected. But a lot of people are looking for this one moment. The French call it the little death. They call the orgasm how do you call it? What is death in French? Le petit meurtre. That's what the French call it. And it's an escape, okay? It's an escape into feeling something. Because a lot of people go about their days having emptiness, not feeling connected, feeling out of balance. And then they go into this intense experience to feel something. But the interesting part is, have you noticed that after this feeling, a lot of times you fall into a hole? It becomes dark around this. It becomes empty again around this. Because we were taught that it's a bodily function. We were taught that it's a basic need of our bodies that we need to fulfill. But that's the instinct, right? And if you're instinct driven, that's always going to be the same, whether that's sugar, whether that's sex, or whether that's any of those basic physical needs. If you don't infuse them with higher consciousness, you're always going to be in this, okay, I satisfy the need, then the urge builds up, the urge builds up, boom, I satisfy the need, the urge builds up, the urge builds up, I satisfy the need, and your soul dies a little bit every time. It dies a little bit every time. It dies a little bit every time. But when you start infusing it with love, and if you start with appreciation for yourself, appreciation for your body, understanding that sexual energy is something very natural. It's a creative energy. It's a big energy. It's the energy that ultimately leads to the biggest creation of all, new life, right? But it isn't a bodily energy. It's a cosmic energy. We interpret it through our, the thinking that we've been taught. We interpret it as a simply bodily urge, but it's a cosmic energy. It's a divine energy that comes from a pure space of love. And if you allow for that to come through, then all of a sudden it isn't just an urge that your body has for a short satisfaction. Then you feel that, oh, I'm interpreting this as sexual need, but really, look at the power of this energy. Oh, what can I do with this energy? Can I get a little more? Can I get a little more? Can I get a little more? And what can I do with it? Can I become creative? How can I express it? Do I want to, you could write a poem, you could write a song. The best artists of history will tell you that once they have learned to understand this great, big, huge energy, and channel and transform it into something creative, they came up with the most wonderful pieces of music. They came up with the most wonderful inventions. So this energy is so much more than what it appears to be on the surface. It is really the universe, God giving you a great, great, beautiful surge so you can use it for something creative. And again, it's the same thing as it was when we talked about alcohol. There's this willpower to allow yourself to see the deeper sphere of it, that it's not just a need for your body or something to be released, that it has a much deeper component. And when you infuse it with love, all of a sudden you are almost invincible. That's how much power you can get from that energy. And then when you actually infuse it completely with love, and when you are in this connection with someone, when you have this connection with someone, it becomes a completely new experience that has nothing to do with what you maybe have experienced in the past. It has nothing to do with the best positions and the G-spot and the best orgasms. As a matter of fact, then the destination, what people call, an orgasm, it isn't even important anymore. It isn't even the most important part of it. It's the experience of being so lovingly, unconditionally, in the moment, connected with the universe and each other, that you don't even know where you begin and the other person ends. That's the real interaction that we're all looking for in this. And that's why if you look at pure sex or pornography or masturbation, this is always like, it's never satisfying. It's just a short peak, boom, and you have to come back to it, you have to come back to it, you have to come back to it, right? But if you transform it into this love experience, then you feel such a deep satisfaction, and you understand it's not just another thing that you do every other day or so, or every day even. It's a wonderful, beautiful cosmic experience that has deep, 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 deep meaning. And I will encourage you to read the Anastasia books, the Ringing Cedars, There's a whole book just on love, just on these experiences, and it's in every book, but there's a whole book just on it. Read those books and you will get a much deeper appreciation for this and a broader understanding that it has nothing to do with this simple bodily function that it's been reduced to for so many people. It's so much broader and so much bigger. And once you enter this realm, it becomes, oh my God, it's like a revelation. It's like everything else. It's like when you go into meditation, it is such a deep experience that can't even compare to anything that you've experienced before. And it's a journey too. It's also the return for, and completely judgment-free for man and woman, for me as a man, a return to who I really am, not the societal role that was given to me, in the sexual context. And for a woman also, a return to the real, natural, universal role of a woman. It's a really beautiful journey. And again, it starts with willpower, the willpower to allow, the willpower for a moment to refuse, and then to level up into a higher vibration. What more is coming through? What more energies are coming through? How much broader does this get? How much bigger does this get? It's again a calibration process. And then when you're up here in your vibration, when you're up here, when you feel the love and feel the creative energy, what happens down here, like pure sex, just body thing, it isn't interesting anymore. It doesn't do anything anymore. It doesn't have an effect on you anymore. It doesn't satisfy you whatsoever anymore. It's definitely a journey, a very big journey.
Someone's saying, please link to the book if you haven't already.
The book the link to the book is in the description. It's there every day. We never take it away. But a lot of these things, and that's maybe a good general point for triggers. Triggers they're something in disguise. Okay. So if you feel like going to the pantry or to the freezer and grab ice cream and sweets and sugar all the time, it's in the need of your soul in disguise that your body translates into that. If you feel like, watching porn all the time, it's a need for your soul that your body translates into something. If you feel like you need that drink, it's a need of your soul that your body translates. And then you start to level up. You start to retrain your body. You start to bring love to the soul. You start to connect with Source. You start to feel that, go into meditation. You start to become a more aligned being, and those things fall away. You don't have to push them away. You don't even have to really pay too much attention to them anymore. And because what happens in the body happens so fast. And if you go to Dr. Joe Dispenza, he teaches this so wonderfully. The transformation in the body doesn't take long, right? Because the body is retrained really fast. You give it something that's better, that is pure, that is clear, and your body's going to go for that. And then your soul feels the appreciation for you paying attention. It feels the appreciation. It gives you this higher part of you. It gives you so much energy because you're paying attention to it. Drew says, oh, just found Dr. Joe. He is great. He really is. Did we have another big question?
I'm sorry.
That's fine. Did we have another big question?
I don't think so.
So, triggers are there to, it's like a cold or a headache in a different way. Everything's always there because it represents something. But when you don't judge it and allow for it to come up, there's already more clarity. And then when you bring love to the situation, love for yourself, appreciation for yourself, not beating up on yourself, not judging you, oh, I'm eating too much sugar, I'm too fat, or I'm craving sex all the time, I'm an addict, or I want to have that drink really bad, I'm an addict. I don't believe in those labels. I don't believe every time you give yourself a label, it becomes stronger. I don't believe in that at all. I believe in transformation through alignment, through meditation, through finding better feeling thoughts, through doing some better feeling things, through more clarity. That's what I believe in. That's how I transform my triggers, and we all have them. And something that was mentioned before here for a lot of people was like right now, conspiracies. But I don't even believe. I mean, that's a stupid word in itself, or conspiracy theorist. I believe a lot of people have right now, because it is such a global situation, because it really, we're all in this together, have such a deep feeling and knowing and are connected enough to feel that there's more, right? And when you feel that something isn't authentic, information that you're given isn't authentic, you can't vibe with that. You can't roll with that. You can't just accept it because it doesn't feel authentic, right? So you are looking and you're searching and you're being led and you find. And then as soon as something feels authentic, you don't have to dwell on that topic anymore, right? Once you feel, oh, this is authentic, I understand this, I totally feel it, it's done, it's over with. You have clarity and then you can move on. And that's why I think that, you know, the guidance that we've been getting on this topic, like just go along, just whatever, wear a mask and just play the game. If that doesn't feel authentic to you, there's a reason for that. And you can't do it unless it feels authentic, which means being aligned with it, right? And I can't do anything that I'm not aligned with. I don't know about you, but I can't. I physically can't bring myself to do that. So I am then calibrating to something that I feel more aligned with, and then something that I feel more aligned with. And all of a sudden I find this peaceful feeling because now I'm in an authentic space. I'm being true to myself. I'm being true to my guidance. I'm hearing it. And I don't care what anyone says. I frankly don't care. And if there's like an accepted scientific consensus, whatever, I don't care. If it doesn't feel authentic to me, I can't go with it. I have to find my own authenticity, and I believe this is happening now, not just for hundreds or thousands or millions. I believe it's happening for billions right now. That's why you're seeing this. That's why you're seeing people that simply go a step deeper, and then you arrive at one thing. You always arrive at the same thing. It's all consciousness. And whatever is disturbing you in the process of being pure consciousness, that's what doesn't feel authentic. That's why you can't go with it. That's why you can't roll with it. Whatever disturbs this authenticity, that's the factor. And so, yes, people will tell you, well, you see a conspiracy everywhere, or it's always you with those things, or this is not, this is just stupid shit, or the news are not saying it, so it can be true, or anything like that. What does it matter? What does it matter? If you would, again, I'm just saying this. If you had accepted everything that you've been told, you would have never ever come to this channel to click on an Abraham video, let alone on this live stream, or listen to anything here, because this is all outside of the accepted norm. Everything that we're talking about is not normal. And that's just how it is. But normal doesn't mean anything other than that a large group of people is doing it at a certain period in time. What's more important is how does it feel to you? What is authentic? That's what I'm interested in. That's why when you go out and when you watch certain interviews, or when you read certain books, you have this wonderful feeling inside of you because it resonates. Truth resonates. It resonates with you and you resonate with it. And that's when you find that sweet spot. And if this is outside of the norm, who gives a shit? Who cares? It doesn't matter. All that matters is that it's authentic to you, that you feel aligned with it, that you have this authentic feeling with it. Yeah. I'm gonna have to come back to all of your comments. There's way too many. I know there's conversations going on that I can't follow. I see a certain logo. I have no idea what that means, but it wasn't pointed at me. And for today, I want to do something a little different. Postpone the center of the circle to tomorrow. But I want to put a feeling in the center of all of our circles here today, and a word. And I would like for you to help me find words that go with it for a minute or two. Because I said it many times, so it's got to be important because it's been coming through. It's called authenticity. What does that mean, authentic? I believe authentic is a substitute word for something that's even deeper. But in this context, I felt like using it was the most appropriate thing. But if we put authentic in the center of the circle, what does it mean? What other words go with it? What makes it feel whole? Real. That's a beautiful word. Being real with yourself. Harmonize. True to yourself, your truth, true, valid, real, clean, discord. I love harmonize, I love real, I love true, valid, align, close to source, beautiful, acceptance, compassion, powerful, beautiful, power, easy, simple, in tune, beautiful. I'm going to throw one in. I don't even know if that's a word, empowered. Magical, it is. One, yes, Drew. Boom. Ding. Buzzer moment. Flow, magical, connectedness, flow, yes. Beautiful. Breathable. True. Light. That's what happens when things resonate with you, right? Then you feel that. Blissful, yes. We. By the way, I love how you guys threw out the big topics today, not just some small stuff. No, you were going for the big things here. Plus you, plus me. Breathable, yeah. Authenticity to me is always, it empowers me. When I hear it, when I hear truth, it feels so good. It doesn't even matter what the topic is. Truth empowers me every time. Peaceful. God. Yep. Black Sky says we keep it real. Yeah. We have a friend back in Austria. He's a really, really good teacher. I mean, he can do stuff that's amazing. You wouldn't believe it, to speak in Trump terms. You wouldn't believe it, but he can do things energetically and heal, and as much as he's really, really deep spiritually, he can be in your face so much. But it's part of his being realness. It's part of his purpose. Sometimes you gotta be really, really obnoxiously real. And that's part of the journey too. And actually, if you listen to the segment, Abraham Hicks segment that we posted this morning, listen back to it, it has exactly this in there. It's important. Not dwelling on things, not, beating the drum on something every day. But sometimes you gotta be real, and it feels good. Drew's bringing physics into the equation. Really good one too. M is you, C is me. Interesting. I'm gonna have to think on that a little bit. Solid, balance. Thank you for the beautiful words. Inspired Tribe has a good one. Thank you for your participation. You were bringing so much to this. Love, energy, inspiration, honesty. I applaud you for being truthful, honest with yourself, with us all, putting this out there. And this group gives us all the confidence to do that, to not be ashamed, to not feel like we're guilty or not good enough, not there yet. There's no there. There's no there. We're just expanding. We're just expanding together. We're just expanding our comfort zones here. So I applaud each and every one of you for being in the center of the circle, for putting out there what's what's happening, and for never ever being fixated on the problem but allowing for the solution to flow to you. Such a beautiful thing. I mean, really, pat yourself on the shoulder, tell yourself how awesome you are. I'm telling you too. Look in the mirror, love yourself, give yourself a hug, and know that you are an amazing divine creator. You're awesome. You're unlimited. You are, I mean, you're the universe in ecstatic motion, okay? Inspired Tribe, we love you so much. Thank you for everything, and we'll see you again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central Standard. And until then, have an amazing, wonderful, exhilarating, authentic, clear, and inspired rest of your day. Christine sends her love too, and we'll see you all tomorrow.